Okay, so before we even start this video, let me just say Kai Sotto has the goods. I'm predicting right now, not only is he going to be in the NBA within a few years, which I only say because he's not even old enough to be drafted, but I also think he's going to be putting up some serious numbers too. What is up, guys? It's your favorite coach's favorite editor, and today we're going to explore the potential of a relatively unknown Pinoy prodigy, 17-year-old, 7'2", and growing Kai Sotto. Alright, so let's start from the top. A couple days ago, I heard of this kid and was instantly hooked on the story, so I do a quick YouTube search, and the content I was able to find was not only lacking and outdated, but simply didn't address why Kai is so special, which surprised me for a list of reasons which we'll get into. But here's the good news. That's what we're here for. For those of you that don't know, we make videos just like this one at least 2 times a week, as well as vlogs where we also sometimes take an in-person look at the athletes we do breakdowns on. So we definitely urge you to subscribe if you're not already. Okay, let's move on. From a $1 million offer to play professionally in Real Madrid while still being in high school to leading the Philippines national team at 17, or the media comparing him to the likes of Yao Ming, I think we could all agree he is truly one of a kind, and may well be the first ever full-blooded Filipino to not only play in the NBA, but excel in the NBA as well. But let's just stop there and end the speculation with this. Kai Sotto clearly has some big shoes to fill, and disclaimer, let us be reminded it's still very early, and this story could easily take a turn for the better or worse. With that being said, let's take it one step at a time, and you guys can decide how you feel about the young hooper. But for now, let's start with his high school career. And as you would expect, he dominated there too. Kai played for the Andreyabish Blue Eagles in the Philippines. He was recognized as the #1 player in the country 2 years in a row, averaging 25.1 points a game, 13.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 2.6 blocks. Naturally, this came with a host of other awards and honors, which I'm not going to read for now to avoid this video being 20 minutes long, but they include things like various MVP and best team titles. At the same time, Kai being 16 years old, his professional career was born. He began his career in 2018 with FIBA Under-16 for the Philippines and immediately led them to a pivotal win against Japan that would result in them qualifying to the Under-17 championship against China. During his first year, he averaged a double-double with just under 17 points a game, 13.5 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game. His best stretch was in back-to-back games where he played Japan and China, dropping 54 points, 42 rebounds, and 9 blocked shots over the 2-game stretch. A remarkable first season to say the least, playing against the best teams in the world. This takes us to the end of 2018, where he was playing for the same team, but now under 17, where he was able to average 16.4 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks per game. By this point, he was really starting to gain mainstream exposure, especially after pairing with 6'11" Ariel John Edu. This of course had the entire country of the Philippines salivating at the idea of an overpowering twin tower combination. They played well together and finished top 4 in Under-18 for Asia, and qualified for the 2019 Under-19 FIBA World Cup in Greece. For those of you that don't know, the US took this one down in late July, and the Philippines finished rather poorly. Regardless, let's just rewind for a second, and let me remind you guys he was in high school on the Blue Eagles as all of this is taking place. And more surprisingly, to say he dominated, that would be a gross understatement. Leading into the conclusion of 2018, he was averaging over 25 points a game, 12.7 rebounds, 3.3 blocks, and had a 62.1 field goal percentage. He was also named Finals MVP, and his team was able to finish the season claiming the country's most prestigious high school basketball title. But let's get on with the timeline. It's also worth mentioning that immediately prior to the FIBA tournament in Greece, Kai spent 2 months training in the United States at the Atlanta Hawks compound with P3 Peak Performance Project. P3 has also provided personalized training protocol to NBA legends like Paul Millsap, Dwight Howard, Ricky Rubio, Carmelo Anthony, and countless other professional athletes. At the compound, there was a big emphasis on mobility, strength, and conditioning. Okay, so where is he now, and what can we expect in the coming years? First things first, let me just say he's still growing. The Olympic Channel reported that Kai's dad and former Philippine basketball star, Irvin Sotto, explained his son is expected to be 7'6". Just a side note and something interesting to watch out for in the coming years. As far as his basketball career, it turns out Kai is looking to find a European club team that is willing to develop him to the next level and get him into the NBA. Despite his dad pushing him in the direction of playing for a US college team and then entering the draft, Gonzaga being the school of choice, it seems likely he will still commit to an organization in Europe, because as we've seen before with 6'7" Kobe Paris, the previous up-and-coming Filipino star, this option didn't pan out, with Kobe barely coming off the bench for Creighton and averaging less than a point a game. game. Okay, so as of right now, Kai Sotto moves surprisingly well for a teenager, especially at his size. He has good post moves inside like his drop step and ability to spin counter. He's left-handed but reportedly ambidextrous, and his outside stroke looks promising. He clearly needs to add strength, but again, he's only 17. If I had to choose a comparison, no, not Yao Ming. Rather, he reminds me of a young Robert Swift. And considering he appears to have a good head on his shoulders, he could develop into the player Swift was supposed to be. Despite whatever happens in the coming years, we can be sure Kai's gonna pour his heart into this dream of his. Kai said it himself, he's ready to make basketball a full-time pursuit, and he's ready to devote the next 3 years of his life to actualizing his dream of joining the NBA. If he didn't think he had enough to work for by now, it's also quite obvious by his social media presence he's big on making his country proud, he loves his fans, he's a humbled hard worker, as well as a very talented and smart athlete. If anyone is going to pull it off, it might just be him. I mean, it's obviously very early on this one. Kai plans to enter the NBA draft by 2023, which could feel like an eternity with this prospect being so unique, but the time will come soon enough, and you could bet we'll be right here with the follow-up. If you haven't already considered subscribing, we post videos just like this 2 times a week, and if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like. It turns out those can really help a small channel like ours grow. From the gatekeepers of YouTube's basketball community, Courtical Hoops, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.